Hi there and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Bailey Phoenix 640. This one's a Platinum Edition. These are a basic walkthrough on how to set up and operate the caravan as if you were coming off site or on site. So, black kit shed here and black lever that you have to have pulled up like so to then be able to wind down the jockey wheel onto the tow ball, causing that to snap down, pushing up that red button and exposing a green ring. Breakaway cable is here. Now legality states if you have an eye point it has to be used, if not wrap it around the tow bar. You have 13-pin electric. If your car has 7-pin adaptation, make sure to bring yourself an adapter. However, you may lose a couple of features such as AL-KO ATC. Handbrake is on a gas strut. To release, press in and press down, and then to engage, pull it up. Now you do have to make sure that you pull this all the way back. Then just here, jockey wheel, use the level of the caravan and sits on the outside of the A-frame whilst travelling. 2 points either side and 2 points at the back. We have inserts for your legs. Now the caravan itself comes with a leg winder, or alternatively you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan using your legs, simply used for stabilisation. Mains plugs into just here, nice and simple. You can get Bailey specific mains leads. Now all the equipment I'm using today is my own test equipment. So I've got an Acrol here full of clean drinking water and then your water pump. Now to release this, you press in on the trigger and then pull out. Now they can be a little bit stiff sometimes, so I do recommend lubricating those rubbers. You have this cap to go over the top of the Acrol to ensure no nastiness gets in, and then at the bottom we have your strainer. And it's crucial that the strainer sits at the bottom of the barrel to allow the maximum potential of water to come through. You'll also see with this one, it's electrical pins if you ever need to replace it. Just here we have your flue. Your flue is used to get clean air in and out of your boiler when operating on gas. Don't have to do anything with this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. I'm using test gas bottle. It's propane. I'd always recommend propane over butane as it has a better performance in winter. That connects from the bottle to this regulator. What you want to do is hand tighten that as much as you physically can and then nip it up using a spanner. You don't want it ridiculously tight, as that's going to put excessive pressure onto the O-ring inside the hose, causing it to crack, break and gas leak out. But once both sides are firmly connected, twist the gas bottle in the positive or open direction. Then lastly, we have your toilet function. So you have the 2 points where your wastewater from both your shower and your sinks are going to come out from. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe to feed into a waste master that you can empty out at the appropriate point on site. We then have your cassette toilet just here. Now to remove this, press up on the orange handle and pull out towards you. You do have to make sure that the toilet itself is shut. Then you can just pull it out like so. Now this handle does also extend out and up, so it can be used similar to a carry-on suitcase. Then what you'll want to do when you're at the emptying point on site is twist this head to the side, open up this cap like so. You want to give it a tilt, and at the same time as tilting, continually pressing the vent button. As you can see, I've put in some fresh water. I do that by opening up this compartment and then making sure that I shut it back up. And then what you'll do afterwards is you have two different measurements in imperial and metric, and that's for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes into there, twist the head back to the side and then push it in so the orange handle sits behind those white teeth, as then it can't be removed. Then just here we have your flush tank. This has a capacity to hold around 12 litres of water. However, I won't recommend putting in any more than 10 as you don't want to overfill the compartment. You can also add some pink chemical, which works as a bleach without being corrosive and makes it smell a bit nicer. Now you don't want to travel with either of these two full, so just up here got a little bung to drain off any remaining water from there. The caravan itself will be fully drained off before you leave with it. Underneath your left hand side seat you have your trips and fuses, all your trips in the upright position and all your fuses in the correct position. I'd always recommend carrying some extra fuses across the van as well. And then that blue box is the equivalent of your brain box for your motor mover. Motor mover will be ran over on collection. On the opposing side, we have your boiler just here, and then we have a drain valve facing in the position as it is now. That is allowing the flow of water to come through. However, when you collect it, it will be in the vertical position, which is drain mode. So November to March, have that up permanently unless you're actively using the caravan, and anytime you come off site, give the caravan a drain off as well. And just here we have your main control panel. So you have a battery test just here, which is saying 13.5 volts is coming in. As I'm plugged into mains, that is going to show the amount from mains as well. You have a main on and off switch, interior light, awning light, turn that on. A little bit hard to see because of the sun, but it is on. And then you have your pump button. So if you pressed in on the pump button, then what we're going to do is come over to the taps and open up our taps on both hot and cold. Now, if for whatever reason it's not coming through, double check the drain valve, double check the actual Acrol and the pump itself. So this is what it looks like when it's coming through. So as you can see here, nice steady continuous stream. This is what you're after. You want about 30 seconds of this to be pulled through, and do it on whatever taps you're coming to use. You may get a couple of coughs and splutters to start off with, and then it will sort of stabilize itself. The coughs and splutters will be any residual air that's in the system, but as you can see, it's sort of leveled itself out now, so you get a nice clean stream. Do that on the other taps and shower if you're planning to use that. Then when you're finished up, turn off just there, and then when it comes to draining off, first switch off the pump, open up the drain valve, and then open up the tap as well to let out any little residual taps of water. Then here we have your Truma control panel. So you have this dial, which is also a select button and a back button. So we'll press in. First up, we have the caravan / motorhome with the thermometer in it. This is for the internal temperature that you desire. It goes up to a maximum of 30, and then to select the heat, you press in. Now what happens is you have a series of vents across the caravan that are going to push out that hot air. Next to that, just got to press in again. There we go. Okay, next to that we have water temperature. It's either off, eco, which is going to get it to around about 40 degrees, hot, which is going to get it to about 60, or boost. Now what boost does, it prioritizes heating the boiler over heating the actual caravan itself, and that lasts for about 30 minutes. After those 30 minutes, it's going to drop it back down to eco. You can see when I don't select though, it's not going to come up on that top line. Next to that, we have energy source. So we can either have gas and 1 kilowatt, gas and 2 kilowatt, strictly electric with 1, or strictly electric with 2. So you've got the choice of gas, mains, or both. Then we have fan speed. So it's either eco or high. Eco is nice and steady. High is a lot more vigorous. However, if it's a ridiculously hot day like it is today, and you don't want the heating on, so let's turn that completely off, and we go back over to the fan. You either have off or vent. Now what vent does, it circulates the air across the caravan. These vents are just going to push air with no temperature to it. So you can have all your windows open and bring through some nice fresh air. Then we're on to the bottom row. So first up we have a timer where you first input the start time, then finish time, hours then minutes, hours then minutes, for the heating and hot water. You have the time, so you just select the correct time. It is on this one 24-hour clock, and then you have settings. Offset, temperature, brightness, 12 or 24-hour clock, language, index, and reset. Now, I'm not going to run through this as we've set this to what we believe the most user-friendly panel to use. However, if you'd like to have a look inside your book packs, then please do so. Now, this screen is naturally going to fade to green when not interacted with a little bit of time. However, it will still display the time. But when you do shut down the van, make sure you completely turn this off, and you do that by pressing and holding in, because otherwise you can get an error code for improper shutdown, which takes 15 minutes to clear. So that's how you use that control panel. Then just here we have your hob grill and oven, all of which operates on gas minus the electric plate. Electric plate, spin it to whatever mark and it will get to temperature. Everything else, press in on the dial, twist it to the side and press in on the igniter. Now it may be a case when you first come to light these, they will light up and then cut out, or they may just take a while to light. When you first come to use them, that's completely natural. That's just gas making its way through the system. This is what it looks like when they're all lit. As you can see, all nice and lit, and it's going to be the same concept for the grill. As you can see, both sides nice and lit. And finally, your oven. Now make sure as well for your oven that these trays do not intrude on the igniter. And there you go, all nice and lit there as well. Now the only other real things to note is that when traveling, you need to have this glass sheet down, but don't put it down until all burners are cold to the touch. And if you travel them with a gas bottle, make sure the bottle itself is off. Then just here, we have your fridge controls. So, fridge is currently off, so there's no lights on inside. Switch it to mains. You can see blue light comes on inside. You have a gauge here for the amount of power coming in. The thicker the bar, the more power, the faster it's going to chill. Even on full capacity, it is going to take around 4 hours to fully chill. We then have this battery icon, which is representative of only 13 pin whilst traveling. You cannot use the leisure battery for the fridge. The last one is going to be gas. Now for gas, I'd recommend running through your hob grill and oven first. Then to ignite the fridge on gas, what you have to do is press in on this dial and this igniter at the same time. You may hear it tick in on the igniter, and you have to press in on both of them continually until that orange bar floats over into the green. So pressing in on both of them, this is what it looks like. So I've just let go. You can see orange bar is over in the green, no matter which way I look at it. Now, as soon as I switch it over to something else, it's going to drop out. And even if I were going to quickly change it back to gas, it's going to gradually drop out. So, mains, 13 pin, gas, gauge for power, igniter, gas lighter. Just here we have your toilet operation. Lift up the lid, press in the button, and you can hear that motor. That motor is what will push through any water across the system. Then to remove the waste, press away on the handle, opens up the catch, pull it back towards you so that you can actually remove the cassette. And anytime you come off site, give the cassette a drain off, but when the cassette is full, there'll be a red light on there telling you to empty.